Hi everyone, it's Mo here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is a Q&A for Game Week 4's deadline. I put out a tweet earlier on saying any questions, any dilemmas, anything football related, put it in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. I had some good questions in, so I picked the best out of them. I'm sure there's questions in here which will be issues that you've got, questions you would have wanted to ask. So yeah, let's have a look. First question is from Jay Nova, and he asks if I had a 1 week punt, in particular a name that no one is talking about that much, who would I go for? I immediately think of Bowen. Reason is I love the fixture. They're playing Luton. Yes, I know it's away, but still, I think it's still a good fixture for West Ham. If I add to that West Ham have started the season actually pretty well. They just finished beating Brighton, an impressive Brighton, I should say, 3-1. Bowen got a goal and an assist, and he's already got another goal. So it's 2 goals and an assist in 3 games. He's looked like the Bowen of the previous season, so this will be my stealth pick for this game week. Next question is from Paul Powell, and he asks, has Darwin Núñez finally found his shooting boots 1 year in? The quick answer to that, Paul, is no. You can't say he's found his shooting boots after 1 game. In fact, 15 minutes, albeit a very impressive 15 minutes with 2 outstanding finishes to win Liverpool 2-1 with 10 men. But the reality is, you need to see a run of games, see how he gets on. Because last season, he was in and out of the team, mainly because his composure in front of goal, he was so wasteful. Now, if he can get to this level of finishing in most games, then he will score a ton of goals because his XG whenever he plays for Liverpool is always extremely high. Everything goes through him. He's got the pace and power to punch defenses that play high up, which a lot of teams in the Premier League do back themselves and play high up to squeeze the pitch. He will eat that grass. So, yeah, for me, no, we don't get too carried away yet, Paul. Let's see how he gets on in the next 5 games. If in fact he actually gets the minutes for us to be able to even judge him. So let's see. Next question is from Rams K Vagworks, and he says, Mo Salah, do I stick or do I sell? Now, that's an interesting question. The reason I say that, a lot of us Mo Salah owners moved him on after game week 2 where we captained him versus Bournemouth. We weren't the most satisfied with the outcome, but it wasn't just that. It was a combination of the fixtures and the amount of money he allows you to move around the rest of your squad. So from my perspective, I was happy with that move. Now, in your situation, if you're still scoring pretty well and the rest of your team is balanced nicely, say you've got Udegi or Gusto, which allows you to still have a decent midfield, you could look to keep him. The reason I say that, Salah's fixtures are about to turn and he's going to be guaranteed minutes in one of the best attacking teams in the Premier League. But then you must know you're offsetting it against having 5 midfielders of like Sakas and Brunos and Martinellis and Matomas. You get so much choice when you do sell Salah. So that's the problem. To give you an answer, I say sell. I done it myself, so I would still say sell for now. And maybe you can jump back on once we see a bit more consistency from Liverpool. Having said that, I think Salah's delivered every game so far. So, but assists, 5 points here, 6 points here, maybe not enough for a 12.5 million player when you can get similar returns from a £7 million midfielder. So that's the issue you've got there. So I would still sell. Next question is from Roberto Yellow Army. Now he asks, would you start Gay versus Wolves or bench him and look to replace Pedro with either Alvarez or Jackson? From my perspective, Roberto, this is an easy one. Pedro is going to infuriate you. I was so happy getting rid of him. Yes, I know when he came on versus West Ham, he looked actually pretty good. And if they do start him regularly, I might live to regret that. But for now, the uncertainty with whether he comes on, he comes off, and haven't they just added Fatty? I know he's not going to be ready for this game week, but still, so many attackers in a manager who's starting to show me signs that he's willing to change things weekly. So yeah, get rid of Pedro. I'd go for Jackson personally, but if you fancy Alvarez versus Fulham, that could be juicy. So yeah, that's in your hands. But I'd say definitely get rid of Pedro. Easy one there. Next question is from FPL Dunks, and he's got a team dilemma. So he's have a look at the team beside me, and he asks, "What would you do with this team?" From my perspective, it's a really good team. I mean, the only 2 things I can see there is to say Bulldog. I haven't seen your bench or your money in the bank, but still, if Bulldog, I know he came back last week against the City, but I'm not sure of his availability and how many minutes he's going to play. Plus, I think you can improve on him. If you can get someone like Udegi in, it's a no-brainer. Superior player for a better team. Just It's an easy move. Doesn't look like you've already got Foden in there for this game week against Fulham. That's lovely. You could move. The other option is to move Salah. Then obviously you've got unlimited money. You could go for any midfielder, and that would be between Maddison and Sterling's the other one. The two sought after midfielders for this game week. So you could take either of them. Rest of your team looks really good. So yeah, they're the only two things I could see. Let me know what you do in the end. I'm curious to see what you do go with. This is a really good question from Woodstock, and he asks, would you take a -4 to bring in Raheem Sterling or Maddison, even though you have 5 good midfielders who are going to play? Now, I'm facing the same conundrum. I've got one free transfer. I really want to fix my defense. I still have Shaw and Gabriel laughing at me, so one of them's got to go. But I am, in the back of my mind, getting some FOMO, thinking one of Raheem or Maddison is going to pop off. Everyone's going to be celebrating the huge points, and I'm there thinking, oh, well done. I fixed my defender, who unlikely even keeps a clean sheet. So basically, I'm saying I'm so tempted to do it, but at the moment, my thinking as of now is I'm not doing it. Just before deadline, I could get itchy fingers and do it. But for now, I'm going to say to you, no, it's not worth doing. I'd rather not take a -4, see the international break and see what's going on. Even though both Maddison and Raheem, to be fair, are decent long-term picks. So if you feel that you say 5 playing midfielders, obviously I've not seen them in the image, but if there's one of them that's a bit, say for example, Matoma, who's got Newcastle, maybe you could move it across. You see what I'm doing here? I'm building a case for myself so I can do it. But yeah, Woodstock, at the moment, I wouldn't do it. No. But let me know if you do it, please. I'm really interested to see if you do actually go with it and if it pays off in the end, yeah? All right, put that in the comments for me. Next question is from FPL Singh, and he asks, is Martinelli worth keeping? I want to sell for Maddison. This is actually a popular question within the FPL community. Reason is Martinelli, I won't say he's been playing bad, but hasn't got the returns, frustrated the owners, and potential minutes risk. So put them two things together, people are starting to sell him. Logical replacement, one of Raheem or Maddison. So my take on it is saying, if you don't have any other fires, like your team's solid, and this is not a minus, I say go for it. Go for it, yeah. It's a good transfer. Do it. Team-specific question from Rick here, and he asks, should I do Rashford to Maddison or Gabriel to Henry, or just do both for a -4? Now, what I will say, looking at your team, I'm really jealous. You've got such a strong team. You've got basically everyone that I want. So you've got the luxury of not even have to do a transfer, because even Gabriel can sit on your bench. So you're in a really good place. You've already got Raheem as well, another sought-after midfielder. Me personally, I would mostly risk going without Maddison, mainly because I fancy Rashford to possibly match him this weekend. The Arsenal versus Manchester United fixture tends to bring games. The last 4 fixtures have been 3-2s, 3-1s. So they've been really good. Goals galore there. I wouldn't do it. I would be tempted. You've got 2 options. Either you keep the transfer and have 2 over the break, or you just fix Gabriel, get rid of him, put someone else in, and then you're set. You've got a better sub as well. That's my take. I mean, the reason I said maybe wait, Gabriel might come back into contention for all we know. I mean, it's unlikely the way he's frustrated us the first 3 game weeks. But yeah, that's my take on it. You're in a good position. I think your team is strong enough to not have to take a -4 to bring Maddison in, especially at the expense of Rashford. So yeah, let me know what you do. As I say, I always say this, I'm always intrigued to see what you do, mainly because I come across these situations myself and I go with what I think, but I want to know what you go with in the end. Next question is from our boy Ray Qureshi, and well, I just noticed I've cut out the question, the second part to the tweet, and he asks about Ryan Gravenbloom, Liverpool's new signing, and just talk about his positions and potentially what impact he could have in Liverpool. Well, I must start with saying I've not watched him loads. I don't watch the Dutch league when he was at Ajax, and the German league I only get to see certain games. So I haven't seen as much. And even if I did watch the German league, not like he got enough minutes playing for Bayern Munich. He was never really favoured. So when he has played for Bayern Munich, I've seen him play. He's been quite versatile. He's played in a 6, a 8, and even a 10 at times. He's got the legs. He's quite versatile. It tells you that managers are still trying to shape him into a position. At Ajax, he played a lot as a 6. So that I do think he's coming in at Liverpool. He's going to play there from my perspective, I think he'll be the number one, number six, leaving Mac and Soboslai to take the 2-8 positions. But it's possible that Endo could play at times a six, and then you've got Gravenbloom who can play either of the eights as well. He's got the legs, he's got good dribbling, his turn is very strong, he's decent with possession, he's really good at hunting down the ball, hence why he plays as a six at times. Quite aggressive of winning the ball back. He's got all the attributes. He's so young. Someone like Klopp can mould him into, I still think, any position within midfield. People need to remember when Klopp bought Gini Wijnaldum from Newcastle, he was an out-and-out winger. Klopp turned into one of the best central midfielders in the world. So, as long as you've got the raw ingredients and you're willing to learn, and he's at that age, he must be hungry after the year he spent at Bayern Munich. This could be a big game changer for Liverpool there, because watching Endo, I don't want to sound too harsh, it was just one game versus Newcastle and he's still getting up to speed, and it was 10 men, but he did look way off the pace, didn't he? Looks way off. You feel almost harsh saying that. Gravenbloom, though, still going to have loads to learn and obviously to get up to speed because he's not been playing week in, week out. So, yeah, that's my take on it, Ray. I'm really excited of watching him. So, let's see how he gets on. Paul Powell sneaking in with a second question, but we're gonna let it slide. And he just simply asks, Maddison or Bowen? Well, Paul, if it was just for 1 week punt and for this week, I'd possibly go Bowen against Luton. But if it's a longer term transfer and you don't want to keep making transfers, then of course I'm going to say Maddison. And we're going to end the Q&A with this belter of a question from FPL Baggers, and he simply asks how to win your mini league. How do you answer that? Well, I'll start off by saying it was much more easier, say 5 years ago. Now it's much more trickier, and I'll tell you something. You will know if the members in your mini league are watching and listening and consuming content. If you see that, immediate danger sign straight away. That tells you to win your mini league, I reckon you got to get top 10k. Yep, that's how scary it is. That's the reality. So I hope you've made no bets there, Baggers. I hope you've made no bets. But yeah, if they're consuming content, I've seen in some of my mini leagues who they don't ever talk about any content creators and stuff. But I can just see the team and I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. And yeah, that tells me immediately the mini league is going to be very difficult to win. And it was the same last year. Mini leagues are getting much more trickier for me to win. That's as simple as that. How can I put it? So yeah, there isn't no secret there, Baggers. You better, let's just say, just aim for top 50k first, and you'll win 50% of your mini leagues. Aim for top 10k, and I reckon you win all your mini leagues. That's what I will say. So that's the end of the Q&A. Thank you very much for sending the questions in. I really appreciate that. I'll be trying to do this Q&A at least once a week, so keep an eye on that if you follow me on Twitter. Next thing I want to say, do me a favor, please like the video and subscribe and comment. Comments, you can put them for, say, if you feel agreed with my answers, if you've got a better solution or any feedback, I really appreciate it. All of it doesn't go unnoticed. All right, so anyway, good luck for this game week and green arrows.